But in Tampa Bay, where they got the quarterback they wanted, the guy who was number one on their list, Tom Brady, they're bringing back a guy who was the second overall pick in the 2010 draft. It was last May, late May, right around Memorial Day weekend, that Ndamukong Suh signed with the Buccaneers the first time around after the Buccaneers dumped Gerald McCoy. This time, Chris, reportedly bringing him back on a one-year, $8 million deal. He is staying put along with Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. We know how Bruce Arians feels about that defense and how it can continue to improve, which will make it a lot easier for the offense. But your thoughts on Suh sticking around in Tampa Bay for one more year?
Well, I just can't help but to think about this front seven in Tampa. And, first off, and that's what I think appealed probably to Tom Brady. And of course, the big thing is when you got it, I mean, just listen to the names alone. Vita Vea, right? Vita Vea, am I saying that right? Yes, Vita Vea.
Vita Vea.
He is
Vita Vea.
Yes. Vita Vea is a game wrecker to be. He is going to become a household name this year. And then you got Ndamukong Suh, and then you said Shaquille Barrett, and then it's JPP on the other side of defense end, and it's Levante David and Devin White at middle linebacker. I mean, when you talk about that group right there, because most games are played in nickel personnel where there's only two linebackers in the field, that is impressive. And to me, the thing that jumps out more than anything, it was the number one run defense in football. But I think this is things where you got to make sure this defense is good, especially early on in the season. And we'll see what the schedule looks like. But a good defense is going to help Tom Brady and that offense come around. If things come off to a little bit of a slow start, they're not going to have the pressure of, oh, man, we got to go out there and score 28 points in week one or we can't win a football game. No, you would hope that the Buccaneers defense improves this year and they could play a style of football at least early on to where Tom Brady doesn't have to carry the team in a new organization and a new system and getting used to all these new things. And it gives them a little bit of a wiggle room as far as that's concerned.
Where do we think Suh is right now, though? 10 years removed from when he was drafted by the Lions. He had the big money contract with the Miami Dolphins. They got to the point where they decided they weren't getting the return on the investment they made. He ended up with the Rams. The Rams were frustrated about his pass rush skills when they put him on the outside. That's what prompted them to trade for Dante Fowler Jr. during the 2018 season. Rams didn't try to re-sign him. He lands with Tampa Bay. What did you see from him last year? What does he have left in comparison to the best that we used to see of Ndamukong Suh?
Yeah, well, those days are gone. I mean, Ndamukong Suh was one of those guys, Mike, that we would have put in the upper tier of F the play up in his prime of his career, and then special in his prime of his career, not only because he could be disruptive, but also had the size and strength to hold double teams and you couldn't move him inside. So he's almost a run stopper combined with a disruptor at the same time. That's why he was the second pick of the draft. He was special that way. Now, this day and age, no, you don't see a ton of disruption. That's the one thing I'd say you're seeing to escape out of his game, but still has incredible strength, never really loses battles, Mike. I mean, that's the one thing when I look at Suh on film or watch him, I'm big into when you lose a battle with a guard or a double team, what's it look like? And his losses are stalemates where he just doesn't get moved and he stays there. Now, back in the old days, he might have broke through the double team and made a tackle or whatever. Now he can hold his ground. And still, there's value in that. So he's a really good player. And when he wants to turn it on and it's a big situation, he has that veteran ability to kind of raise it up a notch, like we saw with the Rams in the playoffs a few years ago.
And that's right. And you know what? I had forgotten about that when he was in the chase for his first championship ring, we saw a higher level of performance from Ndamukong Suh than we had during the regular season. And, here comes Tom Brady, and we've talked about how he's going to affect a locker room, how he's going to affect a culture. He's been around 20 years. He's seen guys get their buttons pressed. He's going to come up with ways to press the buttons of Ndamukong Suh to get more out of Suh from week 1 to week 16, not just wild card round, divisional round, championship round, Super Bowl if they get that far. And it's not that he's going to be doing it it's going to be natural. It's part of the natural competition that oozes from Tom Brady every day. And that is one of the things that I think is going to coax more out of Ndamukong Suh. He's never been around a quarterback like this.
No, Mike, it's a great point, and it's something that, in my time in New England, that really jumped out to me. Now, I didn't get to be on the practice field a whole lot when I was working up there. I was usually stuck in my dungeon breaking down film. But when I did go out, Brady has a great way of raising the competition level in practice. First off, he loves football. And Brady is that kind of guy that'll talk some crap and, oh, yeah, you like that laser? I'm throwing lasers today. And it'll bring up the whole football team as far as their intensity for practices. And as you know, when you practice better, you usually end up playing better when you put day after day after day together. And that is the beauty of what Brady's going to do. Nobody on that team has seen anything like Tom Brady right now. And I think they're all going to look at it and go, man, I might have been slacking my whole career compared to this guy. I need to raise my game. No wonder he's one of the greatest of all time.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.